Hey, stay tuned until the end of the episode to see Jennifer describe her love of durian fruit. She doesn't like to eat it. She just breaks it open and rolls around in it like my Shih Tzu, looking for a trip to the pound.
What's durian fruit?
We texted about it the other day. You're like, save it for the joke.
That's right.
I put it on my calendar. I keep track of everything.
Like, what is that?
It's that one that smells bad.
The one that smells really bad.
Yeah,
okay,
nobody. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. It's supposed to taste good, but obviously you just like to roll around it. I don't know why.
And your wife was looking for it the other day?
It was one of the words in the connections on the New York Times game.
Oh.
And she had to look it up, and she was like,
and you knew exactly what
and I was like, oh no, that's the fruit. She's like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Inside here.
Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Binge Moto podcast, a very special episode featuring the often mentioned Jennifer Sundance Ringelsbaugh, one half of the St. Pete Moto meetup team, along with her husband Butch. Jennifer is here today to help us break down the legendary 1967 book, Hell's Angels, A Strange and Terrible Saga, by her favorite author, Hunter S. Thompson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, you hit me up a couple weeks ago, and you were like, hey, I'm starting this book. You got to listen to it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. So, what'd you think of it?
I thought it was raunchy and graphic, but also a necessary tale for where we are today and the history of motorcycle gangs and the media itself and how it
the media
can escalate things to
definitely.
a certain degree.
Yeah. So first, let's break down your love of Hunter S. Thompson, because I actually had never read any of his books before, but you're a fan.
I'm a huge fan of Hunter S. Thompson, not just for his journalistic ability or his books, but his personality and his chaos that surrounds him. You should know this, but my daughter's name is Hunter S., and her middle name is Sagan, like Carl Sagan.
Okay.
And my maiden name is Thompson, so she is
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah,
that's pretty badass.
Which I didn't think through, because the way, if her teachers one day are like, "Oh, are you named after Hunter S. Thompson?" Like, he ended up killing himself by gunshot, and he did a lot of LSD and psychedelics, and I didn't really think it through, for when she's getting older and she's describing her name, like she's probably gonna have some questions for me. But
I named my older son Wesley after the Princess Bride.
Oh,
but I wanted to call
as you wish.
I wanted to call him Dread for the Dread Pirate Roberts, but Giselle wouldn't let me, so we stuck with Wesley. But I did not put the T in his name, though, like the character, because I figured that would be a drag his whole life.
Yeah.
Having to explain people, no, you're spelling it wrong.
At least you thought it through.
Yeah, I thought it through a little bit.
My husband and I, we talked about, my new last name is Ringelsbaugh.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about baby names before, if we were to have a kid. And if we have a boy, he wants to name it Rip Van Ringelsbaugh. So we've been going through that name for a little bit back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which would be a talking point, but
yeah. So I think I'm most familiar with him just from the Johnny Depp movie, The Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing. That is his most famous book, most notable book for sure. Right. And a wild movie.
Right. He's known as a Gonzo journalist, right? So he embeds himself in whatever subject he's.
Yeah, it's
whether it's Hell's Angels or drugs or whatever.
Yeah, all of it.
All of it, yeah.
He embeds himself in what he's doing. He wants to have the full research, the full aspect of it. He wants to it's like getting into character as an actor.
Yeah.
Right? You have to study it, research it, and he's like, well, I'm just going to go for it. And the funny part is like his marriage lasted forever.
I was just about to mention that. He kept saying like, oh, then my wife was back at the house or whatever, and I was like, you're married while you're doing all this?
He was married the entirety of his life. I mean, I think they eventually separated, but then at the end of his life he actually was home for Christmas with his family.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was a trooper, that one.
How old was he when he died,
He was in I believe his 60s. Okay. Closer to the end of 60, I believe, and he had major brain trauma because of the drugs he did. Right. So he was fighting a battle internally for quite some time. And actually his son is quoted saying, after we heard the gunshot, we were all like, finally.
Yeah.
He finally did it. Because I think, he was, if you see pictures of Hunter S. Thompson, he's either on his motorcycle smoking cigarettes or wailing a gun in the air. So he always, was carrying. But
it was a was that fait accompli or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
it's meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character, interesting guy.
Yeah.
So I really love Hunter S. And when I'm always looking for books, and I picked up Hell's Angels and I messaged you about it. I was like, I think you really like this. And you did, because you messaged me about the nostalgia factor of the book.
Well, it was definitely, it was in the late 60s, right? So post World War II, I guess like the creation of the Hells Angels, it was kind of like all these guys coming back from war. They needed something. They were lost.
Yeah, and when they left, so if we back up before they left for war, it was like all about stability and comfort and marriage and children and families and homes. And when they came back, they were like, there's no possible way we can go back to this life. It's just chaotic.
I mean, nowadays there's names for that, PTSD and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but back then it was just like,
there was no coping mechanism except for loud bikes and lots of drugs.
Yeah.
So hence why the Hells Angels were created.
And I don't think the drugs started, there wasn't as much drug use in the beginning. It seemed more like just pot.
It was just pot, and I think they kept talking about these pills in the book too, remember? Yeah. I forget what they called them.
Yeah, but
there were some kind of uppers to keep them up.
Yeah.
But the LSD and stuff didn't happen for basically towards the end of the Hells Angels.
Well, towards the end of his experience with Hells Angels, because they're still around today. Yeah,
they are still around. Yeah. Towards the end of the media frenzy of Hells Angels, because, well, we'll get there, but LSD and the psychedelics they took actually sort of calmed them down and gave them a less confrontational nature. So
right.
It almost domesticated them a little bit.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. So didn't really say. So the book is interesting because it has a lot of the chapters open with quotes from other media, books and poems and movies and whatever else.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like also a lot of stories, I guess just giving context to the era. Because at first I was kind of like, is there even a story going to be here at all? Like there was no narrative in the beginning. It was literally just a lot of like explanations of the time, right?
Right. Where he's at that point, the experience he's having.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then because there's not even like a lot of characters to follow at first. He kind of just mentions, oh, this guy did this or this guy did that. But then later you start to see like his relationship built with certain characters like Sonny
Barger.
Yeah,
who was in the movie last night.
Yeah. So we'll take a little sidebar here. She texted me last night. She's like, I just started this movie. It's called Hell's Angels on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels or something.
It was Hell's Angels on Wheels, which is a weird title. I guess maybe there's something else already called Hell's Angels or whatever. And it was starring Jack Nicholson, which is kind of crazy.
It was kind of crazy.
He was like the only actor in the movie in my opinion. Everybody else was like, I think they just found a bunch of guys that could ride motorcycles.
It was a very cheap film, and they threw it together at the end. So Hunter S. Thompson's book came out in 1967, and this film also came out in 1967. But at that time, I think 3 other movies came out
about the Hells
Angels.
Well, when I searched it on Prime, like all kinds of movies came up, and I was like, which one is it? So then I actually went to IMDb to look up Jack's filmography to see the actual title.
Yeah.
So that I could make sure I picked the right one. Yeah. No, it looked like some high school kid filmed it. Like the camera's constantly moving around and yeah. Sometimes it wasn't in focus when I think it was supposed to be. It wasn't like intentionally out of focus. And then it's just a bunch of guys doing burnouts and
it starts out with a burnout in a field, and then
and then they cross paths with Sonny Barger and like the actual,
and they make out.
They do like a weird kiss. That was another
thing they talked about in the book too.
Yeah,
it's like how you show your brother's love or something.
Well, they were saying they were doing it to shock the normal people, right? Because that was like their thing.
Same with the tattoos, the swastika tattoos. And
stuff.
That's
another weird.
It was to, make everybody think that they were more than they really were crazy, I guess. I don't know. They weren't, not all of them were, well, one of the quotes was, they're not actually thought of as racist because they hate everyone else except for just themselves. So it's not like.
There was definitely some racist content.
Absolutely. But for the times and things, and I'm sure that some of them super were, and then they actually had a relationship with the East Lake Dragons. Which was
some of those Oakland, like, groups are still around, like the but
the Oakland Easts.
But the language that Hunter uses, especially describing the other races in the book, they would not use that today. It's kind of like when you go back and read Huckleberry Finn, they're like, well, they would probably write it differently today.
Absolutely, they would. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it was hard to read too, like the graphic, we'll get into how they treated women
Right.
and that sort of nature, but it was a lot. It pulled on every one of my
Yeah.
emotions. Happy, sad, angry, confused, uncomfortable, maybe.
Yeah, so basically, like, there were these, they called them outlaw motorcycle groups
Mhm.
around
The
that area.
1%.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes back to, I did another podcast with my friend Brandon where we talked about the movie The Wild One with Marlon Brando,
Yeah.
which, funny enough, actually inspired these guys as well. Like, so there was a town in California where this gang, they stopped a party and a couple of them got arrested and they had like a sort of a riot, and that became the impetus for that film, right?
Gotcha.
And then they made The Wild One with Marlon Brando, which was like so crazy at the time that like it was banned from Britain for like 10 years, for unbridled hooliganism.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bacchanal.
Yeah, and but like in that movie, the other movie that came out last year with um what's his name?
Oh, yeah. I don't think that I watched
The
that.
bike
The
riders.
Bike Riders. I don't I
Tom
don't think I
Hardy. Yeah.
saw it, but I wanted to. But I
And
heard your review on it, so
it's
I was
the
like,
same thing. Like he's watching that movie and he's like, I want to do that.
yeah.
And then like so basically like that movie created like these subcultures,
Yeah.
or it didn't create them, but it amplified them.
Yeah, it sparked the curiosity and
Right. And so guys were lost and they wanted to keep their freedom, and so
it was rebellion too. It's
rebellion,
like
yeah.
rebel against this, and that was
But they're
kind of
rebelling against nothing really.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
rebelling against life.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Normalcy.
yeah, I think I was looking up themes of it and they were saying freedom versus civilization, and it's the fantasy of pure freedom versus what happens when you actually have it. Like these
Yeah.
guys, they were like, "Oh, we're so free" or whatever, but what that usually ends up meaning is then you have nothing.
You have
Like,
nothing.
yeah, well, it's
And
freedom.
and they said they ran with like their group was based off like fascist times too. So if you have something, you share with everyone.
Right.
It's everybody has nothing, so whatever you have, you share it. And these guys wanted so hard to rebel against everything that everyone else wanted them to do, but inside it was like military-esque. They were rules, there were hierarchy, and you abided by that. And
Right.
what's their motto? All on one and one on all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead of like all for one, it's this: if you mess with one of them, you're gonna get all of
Yeah.
them.
They're not like a fair fight kind of. They're not
No.
like, oh, if you bump into one of them in the bar and you punch him, like you just punched all of them. Like they're all going to beat you
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why a lot of them joined, because I know that there was a specific context with Hunter S. Thompson where he was like, why would you join? He was like a 5'2" scrawny guy. And he's like, because I don't have to worry about anything
Yeah. I don't
anymore.
lose fights anymore.
I don't lose fights anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really cool book.
It was. So basically they came to fame because they got involved with a rape case, right? Like,
The alleged rape case.
right.
So the guys actually ended up, some of them were arrested, but it ended up getting dismissed because there was not enough physical evidence.
But the national media kind of picked up on it, and they became like an easy boogeyman for like the entire country. They needed
yeah.
they needed somebody to hate, and they were like an easy target.
Yeah.
And
this was like building up and building up because the media had been, covering stories of them taking over towns and
right.
knocking out bars. And a lot of the barkeeps were saying like, yeah, they came in and ruined our bar, but they paid for everything before they left and kept it cleaner than when they got here. So
Right.
it was kind of one of these like push
Right.
and pull situations where are they really that hated, or are they just looking for a good time and they want to take care of the bill at the end of the day? We don't know.
Yeah. So, but that story, like, kind of, because it's not like modern times. Like, you and I could film something on our phone and it could catch and go viral and be all over the world tomorrow.
Right.
Whereas back then, like, there was wire services and national like 3 networks or whatever.
You had
And
to wait for the papers to get printed. And
you had to wait for the paper to
yeah.
be printed. So like stories like that, they would get picked up, across the entire country
Yeah.
because they had like gravitas,
And a lot of them didn't know all of the facts. And so which I texted you about too, and we were talking about this briefly, it was, they use words like alleged or
Right.
so-and-so said, or it's been known to, just sort of to muddy the water where we don't have the full story, but we can print it if we just make it woo-woo.
Yeah, general enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that story kicks off, and then they like the attention.
They loved it.
They love the attention, so they actually start doing more shit like that to get more attention because they wanted it, to the point where they were like calling newspapers and saying, "Hey, which town do you want us to ransack? You can come and film it."
And be prepared for us. And they knew Hunter S. Thompson. Well, Hunter had already written articles about them.
Right.
And he was nervous when they read it, but they ended up being fine with it.
Yeah, they kind of said, as long as you tell the truth.
Exactly.
You're not making stuff up about it.
And Sonny Barger actually asked him one time, he's like, are you writing anything else? And Hunter was like, I'm writing a book. And he said, okay, just so they knew.
Yeah. They kind of always kept him a little at arm's length.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody fully trusted him.
No. And you find that out after.
And he also didn't fully trust them wisely, because he was always worried about, they're going to steal my shit, they're going to beat me up.
And he eventually, he tried to keep him away from his everyday life, but he eventually invited him into his apartment, and his friends would be over. And I know that he got complaints from his neighbors for a lot of reasons, but he's like, these are my friends.
Right.
So it's just interesting.
Yeah. So there were a couple of like main characters through the book that you hear more often, but for the most part, it was just like random people popping in, because it's just like the gangs, like guys would join and then guys would disappear and
go to jail, or
and they were actually mostly friendly with other clubs that were in the area.
Yeah.
Like they would all go do these rallies together, or the road trips or whatever.
Except for, what was the Spanish club?
Oh, I'm not sure.
They didn't get along with them. There was like a quarrel between them, but I can't remember.
Okay, so he, I guess the big plot point in the book is when they go to do that 4th of July trip, right?
The 4th of July run that they do
They call it a run, yeah. And it got so much publicity that like the local towns, the sheriffs and stuff, started preparing for it this time.
Yeah.
Because they were like afraid, like, oh, they're going to come in here, going to be like 200 motorcycles, and they're going to
take over
the whole town. And so basically when they were able to, like, they tried to keep it a secret, but they were able to figure out, like, hey, they're coming to this particular town on this day.
Yeah, be ready for them. They've got, squad cars from other locations too, just coming in, sitting on the sides of the highway.
To the point where, like, the gang itself, like, decided, let's leave the women at home in case there's going to be, like, a lot of shit going down. We don't want them to be involved. Yeah. So
the old ladies.
Yeah. The old ladies and the mamas.
Yeah.
So they actually get there, and they've got roadblocks set up because they were planning on going to like this lake or whatever, and then so which they were at the lake, but they ended up having to go to the other side of the lake. Right. So basically they created a spot for them to party, and they kind of had a truce, and
I can't believe they agreed to that though. When you read that in the book, I'm like,
yeah,
they really just were like, okay, I guess we'll just stay here. Yeah. Basically there was a huge party at this lake every year on 4th of July, and the gang was supposed to go over there and party. And the police got to them first and said, you can come and party, but it has to be on this side of the lake. And they had to do,
but it was like,
it was a trek up there.
It was a trek up there, yeah.
It was remote. There was like, it was just awful. And they were like, okay, I guess we party here.
Yeah, and
they ran out of beer.
And
they had like a curfew, like nobody in or out after 10 p.m. And
right.
So of course Hunter had to do the beer run, but they were counting up change.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want someone else to come with me because.
And how about those beer prices? Like $2.25 for a 6-pack or whatever.
Yeah, like, $1.25, $2.25.
Yeah, like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's also interesting that like they were so popular, I guess. They became like an attraction. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, when they would show into a town, like people would just come out to look at them.
With their kids too. Bring their kids and just wait for them to show up.
And, like, hey, do something cool. You know? I mean, nowadays they'd all be standing there with their phones, like trying to get a selfie with them or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, back then they were just there to watch, like,
yeah.
See if they smash a window or steal something. Or maybe they'll beat up somebody.
And even before they went to this party, they knew that like the cops were always watching them and stuff. And in a lot of towns they've been kicked out of, like Reno, for example, the police in the city decided to create new laws to have them avoid going to those areas. So before they went on big trips like this, big runs, they would have like a big meeting, a group meeting, like, okay, we can go through this town and over here, but we have to avoid these towns because we'll get caught doing these bad things or these laws that they passed to keep us out, and then we'll get arrested and we can't afford that.
Right. And they usually end up beating almost everything they got arrested for. Like, they hardly ever went to jail, but it was so inconvenient for them, and it was so expensive.
It was expensive, which was none of them had money. They didn't have jobs. They were vagrants, and they described them as just dirty.
Yeah, he basically just calls them losers.
The whole time. And most of the women made the money because they were secretaries or
right.
things
the women,
like that.
I don't understand the attraction for them because so there's another thing, like they made a point in saying like how filthy they were all the time, and like they didn't wash their clothes
and their teeth.
Like they didn't have dental work, and then they would just do like to the initiation was like literally like smearing oil and grease and shit all over them, and then making them wear the clothes for like 2 weeks or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, oh, and then women are like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's
I'll
party.
get on your bike.
Yeah.
Some girls like the chaos. I'm not dogging the girls on what they choose. Like,
no, I guess not.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
Some girls were into it. Some of the mamas were into it too. I mean,
that was my problem with that movie last night. Was it wasn't was that PG? I mean, it was like
it was PG.
It wasn't PG. Okay,
I mean, it has to be. Yeah.
I was like, why were they making this movie? Like, it should have been all TNA and blood and gore, and it was literally just like they were gonna have this crazy party, and all the women were there, and the guy's like, "Oh, I can paint them," and then they like start taking their clothes off. I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna get interesting."
They're like painting her foot.
Yeah, they're like painting her below her bra, and so I'm like, "What is this? Was this not the '70s? Come on!"
Yeah, my husband fell asleep, so obviously it wasn't TNA.
Yeah, there wasn't enough TNA in that.
Wasn't enough TNA. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was hilarious because it was so poorly done.
It was. And, it was kind of funny.
The ending I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, the end just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. But it was a good story. It was Jack Nicholson in, his prime.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's magnetic. Like, you can see him over here. He's on the back of the Easy Rider bike.
Rider, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not in that movie very much, only a couple of scenes, but
still good.
Yeah, still good. Yeah, so those guys, I had a friend like that in high school that in high school I kind of wanted to be him. Like just post high school, we used to hang out a lot, and he's that guy that like didn't follow society's rules.
Okay.
Like we would go to Daytona for the weekend to party during spring break, and then I had to go back to work on Monday, and he'd be just like, I'm staying here.
I'm going to stay here for another week.
And I'm like, but you don't have any money and you don't have a place to stay or a vehicle. And he'd be like, so? And then 2 weeks later, he would come home and he'd be like, oh man, these girls on the beach. And then this guy had all this pot, and then we stayed in this place, and then like we did shot contests, and then I did I jumped off and did the belly flop contest, and he just like stumbled through life like that, and I was always like so jealous of him. And then and you smash cut to like now we're in our 50s, and he's just living in his high school bedroom in his mom's house.
Yeah,
so it's like you had like
He's got cool stories though.
He's got cool stories, but at a certain point you have to kind of like
you have to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
I mean, it's good to have life experience and chaos, but also
you just kind of wonder, like, is this a phase for some of these guys, or do they eventually figure it out? Or
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
And a lot of them, crash and died. Like, these were not like modern sport bikes they were riding. These were so the bikes were kind of a character in the movie.
Yeah,
they rode Harley 74s, like a pan shovelhead. Is that
shovelhead?
Yeah.
Harley 74s.
They bought them because they were cheap, powerful, and they could modify them easily and fix them easily.
And outrun any police officer.
Yeah, they were fast.
But they would also, a lot of them didn't have their own bikes because they were poor. So they would share bikes, and then they ended up starting to steal bikes and breaking them down and then rebuilding them into different parts.
Right.
So it was just a smorgasbord of weird mechanics that they would use, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool, I guess, but
it was their hobby, what they did.
And so Hunter, like, to fit in, he went and got a motorcycle, but he ended up buying like a Norton, right? Or was it a BSA?
I think his was a BSA, I believe.
Yeah. So they were like, of course, back then those bikes were the fastest.
That was the fastest. And then the Hondas, we talked about the Hondas too.
Yeah.
How they started getting into it. And then it was talking about the stocks and stuff. So I looked up the stocks, obviously, and it's like $30 for a Honda stock.
Oh, wow.
And like $25 for Harley or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not even that great. But
wow.
For now times, who knows?
Right.
But
yeah, so I don't know. Like, he embeds himself with them for like over a year.
Mm-hmm.
He witnesses some pretty heinous shit. Like, we've been kind of dancing around like the way they treat women, but so they basically have like several levels of the women, right? Mm-hmm. They have the old lady, which is, I guess, she's pretty much one-on-one with a certain guy, right?
The old lady's one-on-one. She's either married or the sole woman of one man, and you do not touch her, you don't flirt with her, you don't nothing.
Right.
That's the old ladies. But then a lot of the guys that have old ladies also partake in the mamas.
The mamas are like just any woman that's a hanger-on that comes around, and then she agrees to do whatever. A lot of times it was like, 10 guys kind of stuff.
At
Like,
one time, multiple times a night. And
yeah,
so sometimes the mamas would wanna be old ladies, but then they would jump from one guy to the other guy
and then they would lose their
too
status.
fast,
Yeah,
and then once they went to too many guys jumped around, they became mamas, and once you're a mama, if you wanna stay in the group, you have to you're everybody's property, so at any point, anyone,
yeah,
you submit to them at any time, essentially.
right.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. And
yeah,
then it sounds like, most of the time they were willing, but occasionally maybe they had enough, and then
yeah.
yeah, but there's no saying no, I guess.
There's no saying no,
Right.
and a lot of the guys are like, when the rape cases came up, they're like, "I've never met a woman that, said no until it was already over," or
Right.
something like that. So who knows? I'm sure, there's a lot of alcohol involved. There's a lot of, so
Yeah, because even like at that 4th of July party, they would drink so much, and then they would start, like you said, looking for stimulants to stay awake.
oh, yeah, and
And you don't want to fall asleep there because they would do
yeah,
some crazy shit to
if
you.
you fell asleep, w there was this point where someone was like, "Why where'd he go?" And they're like, "Oh,
Trying to sleep.
he's
Yeah.
trying to sneak he sneaks away to sleep." They have to, like, hide themselves when they sleep, or they have to take, like, uppers all night long for, like, 2 weeks or something,
Yeah.
however
I mean,
long they're
that sounds
partying.
like a 20-something-year-old guy thing, because back in the day when we would have a party, the first guy that fall asleep would, he'd wake up with a dick on his forehead or whatever, or
Ours was like the shaving cream, like,
we,
you put it in their hand and then you dip it in their
yeah.
face
I
and
mean,
then
I remember one time we shaved my friend's leg, just one of them. Like, he had really hairy legs, and we just took out the clippers and we just shaved his leg.
what about remember the flour when you would just smack someone in the face with flour? What was
Yeah.
that called? It was called something. In our high school, we did it. Antiquing, yeah, we used to
Antiquing.
antique people.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, that was pretty funny,
Yeah.
and, that's when camera phones were a thing, so I don't think the cloud was a thing yet, so I couldn't, like,
As soon
start.
as we're done here, I'll get you some flour. You can do it to Giselle.
No, I'm not doing that to your wife in your home.
Well, I'm definitely not doing it because
Never.
I want to be able to sleep here.
Well, it's on record that you told me to do it.
Is it?
Yeah, he's gonna edit that out.
No, I won't. She doesn't watch.
We just, we listened to your other podcast on the way here. Shout out to those guys, the married couple.
Oh, yeah. So
What a cool story.
if you haven't caught it, go back and watch the last episode with Morrison's en route. They are very cool.
Very interesting. I love how much they've traveled and how much they appreciate
So they
their
have
situation.
they have the free lifestyle, but they're doing it the other way, whereas they live until they run out of things, and then they work.
Well, they work hard
They work hard.
to play hard,
They
and
work
then they
hard
go
to
back.
block.
They're not like out of the realm of reality.
No,
They're
never.
not cheating the system. They're like, all right,
Right,
we're
right.
out of money. So,
Yeah.
but that was that was a cool story.
So yeah, so they end up at this thing, and then like they have to go to town a few times to get beer and stuff, and for the most part it works out okay. There's some hurdles, but
Yeah, they keep running out of beer, and then the police won't let them leave, and then there's a random kid in the gang at some
yeah, that's what I was
point.
saying. There's like just random, like there'll be people that show up to see. At one point, like these boat people show up on the other side of the lake, and then they come over and they take them off a ride on the boat.
Oh,
So,
yeah, it's just like, who and some of them are like, are they friends with them? And they're like, we don't know them. We were excited to see what they were about. And
right.
so
Yeah, they became a celebrity class basically.
they did. And the media made them to be this outrageous, violent gang, but really they were just drunk and debauchery. And
Right.
Hunter S. Thompson basically exposed, like, they're just losers looking for a good time and on to the next adventure, but they're not really organized in any way as far as.
Yeah, most of them didn't even own any property at all. They were just crashing places.
And he said they were like, some of them were second generation poor, never owned anything, even a car.
Right.
Their families either. I
Yeah.
mean, most of them came from Oakland. Some of them came from Detroit.
Yeah.
Where was Sonny Barger from? I think he was from Detroit, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't remember. I'll have to do the research.
Yeah.
Probably should have done it before the podcast.
Yeah,
But.
we'll Google it and we'll edit it out.
Honey, can you Google it?
Let's see.
Yeah. Sonny Barger. I was shocked when I saw him in the movie last night.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be in it.
I did too. I'm gonna drink
So
more.
he was born in Modesto.
Modesto?
Yeah,
Okay.
California. Yeah.
Is he still alive, isn't
No,
he?
he died in 2022.
2022, okay.
Yeah. 83 years old.
Well, that's a pretty good life for how much he.
5'3". Holy shit.
That's a 1 inch taller than me.
That's crazy.
That's why I was looking at 74 Harleys last night. I was like, maybe I should get one of these. So
So
I don't dump it.
Yeah, we just looked up Sonny Barger. So he actually made it in his 80s. Crazy, right?
83.
Yeah, from Modesto, California. Died in California. 5'3".
5'3".
He must have had quite a personality to lead those guys. There were some big dudes. Like a lot of times he was describing guys. I'm like, are they all linebackers? Like every guy that he came across was like, oh, he was 6'2", 237 pounds or whatever.
Hunter S. Thompson was pretty tall.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Honey, if you Google that too for us.
we have a
research guy.
Got a research guy over here. Yeah.
Butch Ringelsbaugh.
Wow. So Hunter S. Thompson was 6'3".
Hunter S. Thompson was 6'3".
How did they get Johnny Depp to play him?
How tall is Johnny Depp?
He's pretty short.
I have no idea. I don't know, but Hunter. So there is a documentary about. It's called Gonzo, I believe.
Yeah.
And I watched it. It's a really sad but interesting documentary about him.
Right.
But everything documentaries can be one-sided. He was a wild man, but 5'10". Okay.
Well, I guess he's a little taller than I thought. He's taller than I thought. Yeah.
Tall to me.
Yeah, 5'10". Okay.
All right. So where are we at? We're at this party.
Yeah,
the 4th of July run, and it doesn't get as crazy as everyone thinks it will.
Right, yeah. So actually, there was something else that happened in the country somewhere else, and it ended up kind of being more of a distraction. Yeah. It wasn't like another rape case, right? Yeah.
Which seemed to be
that seems to be like a theme. Yeah, a lot of rape.
There was a lot of rape back then,
but they didn't sound like it was a major crime to them. They were kind of like, oh, well, he's just raped her,
Well, I don't know how far back it goes, but there's men that marry 12-year-olds in different countries still today. So right. I guess it depends on where you're from, but in my perspective, that's gross. So
yeah, I agree.
So but yeah, they had the Monterey rape case was a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old girl that were ripped from their dates and taken out into the beach of Monterey Bay and raped by multiple gang members, apparently, allegedly, of Hell's Angels. And then they came out of the brush just crying, and they found their way into deputies' arms.
But I don't think that one even got prosecuted fully, right? I think
no, they were like, oh, there was no evidence.
They basically said that, like, oh, they made it up, they wanted to do it, kind of.
And what happens is, instead of testifying, a lot of the mamas would go after the women that alleged the rape, and they would say, if you say anything, or if you testify, we'll come get your family and things like that. So it was almost
a lot of intimidation,
which still happens today a lot. You hear that in cases all the time. People are like, oh, the guy didn't show up, or they disappeared after that, and we couldn't, take the case all away. So it is what it is. But yeah, craziness, crazy stories.
We skipped ahead of the whole LSD subplot with so I have the guy's name right there.
Ken Kesey.
And he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, so okay, we'll just get that part. Okay, so
queso.
Queso?
You said queso.
I say that a lot, I guess. Queso. Yeah, I say mucho to all my Spanish friends. It means a lot to them.
It does. My daughter always goes, "Get out my mochila." And we're like, what? That's backpack in Spanish.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get out my backpack. She just yells it out randomly.
It's probably like what's her name?
Dora the Explorer, probably.
Yeah. So they, at a certain point, Hunter introduces them to Ken Kesey, who's like this, like, San Francisco hippie dude, right? Dude, yeah. Which is, I think he just kind of wants to see what happens when these two, like, groups meet. And they end up surprisingly getting along really well.
They get along really well. And Ken owns a bunch of property out. Yep. And what do they call it? His, like, land out there?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. But he has, like, a compound, and then, like, he throws these legendary LSD parties.
Yeah.
And introduces them to LSD.
Invites the gang to his house, puts up a 15-foot flag in red, white, and blue saying, "We welcome the Hells Angels." And the whole town was up in a roar about it. And
yeah, they kept trying to arrest him too.
Oh, yeah.
And he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep. Also another author.
And also another Jack Nicholson.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Like his big star vehicle back in the day. So they end up going to these parties, and they end up, for the most part, loving LSD.
A lot. Taking way too much.
Yeah, he was like, take one, and they're like, oh, I'm taking 10. And they would just, like, down the whole bottle kind of thing. And to the point where Like
some would go mute for just hours, just sunk into the couch staring into the abyss, and others would be like in the woods crying naked.
the same, the cops would just be standing outside the compound, like waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Thing,
Yeah. And they couldn't really get them while they're on the private land unless they needed a warrant,
right,
or if there was imminent danger or something like that.
yeah. So they would just stand across the way and mock them, you know.
Yeah, and so they would throw these like nighttime parties, and so there'd be like 20, 30 cop cars on the highway right outside of this compound with just like red and blue lights flashing into the woods, and it would just like.
And Ken Kesey had a lot of influential friends and
Yeah.
that were really big in the hippie movement and big in the political movement, and they were very anti-Vietnam. And then here's like the big surprise: despite wearing Nazi propaganda the whole time and being fascist or whatever, they were very pro-American.
They were pro-American, yeah.
Yeah, and so
because you have the freedom to be derelicts.
I guess that's.
I mean, you have the freedom to say dumb shit and
right. So they
do dumb shit, and also.
So at a certain point, like they started showing up to these anti-war rallies and then just beating the crap out of the hippies that were there.
Yeah.
And like Hunter was trying to like get them to call a truce, you know, and try to explain their side of the story. But honestly, they just did whatever Sonny said. So it was really just his political view. It wasn't like most of them were not thinkers. They were just
blindly
party guys.
followed.
Yeah.
They blindly followed, which again goes to the point that it was very military-esque. Not saying our military blindly follows, but there's hierarchy, and you respect that hierarchy when you're inside that system. Because if you don't, you're out.
Right, and those guys are all desperate to belong because they have nothing. Yeah.
They have nothing, and everything they have is this group.
Right.
Their identity.
But then, like, the group becomes so popular, it starts spreading across the country. Like, people start saying, "I'm Hell's Angels,"
and Sonny would. So they had to like go through the system. So if you wanted to set up like a small city, would have like 10 or 15 guys. Want to be the Hells Angels, they would have to go through the Oakland chapter to get approved to be a Hells Angels chapter.
Yeah, because if they found out you were doing it without their approval, then you're in for a beating, you know.
A big beating.
A big beating, yeah. Yeah, because there was other outlaw gangs, like we said before, but if you wanted to be specifically a Hells Angels, because I mean, I'm a 70s kid, I grew up in the 70s, and I knew about the Hells Angels as long as I can remember. It was like a thing, you know.
Yeah.
They were always villains in TV shows and movies and...
Just chain smoking cigarettes and being the loudest people in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think by the time I was like a kid, like they had gotten more into the organized drug trade and that stuff, like actually started.
I heard about that. It didn't go too deep into that in the book, but.
Right, because at that point.
That's how they started making money.
Yeah, at that point they had no organization, they had no income. Like you said, they just would steal random shit or.
Yeah.
Or get their
and at
old ladies
some
to have a job.
point in the height of their media frenzy, they tried to make money off of that. They tried to make money on appearances and the movies. They were supposed to get money for, you know, being parts of these movies and stuff like that, but then it kind of faded out. It didn't last very long. It was like within those 2 years where it got crazy, and then they slowly started realizing we don't have any money here.
Right. Yeah. There is no money in this just being famous.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they and obviously, like we watched that movie last night, they were in that movie. They made appearances in movies, and I think like there's an allure to it for celebrities. Like they want to be there. They don't want to be fully in, but you know, just to be able to be associated with those kind of people.
And I think Hunter S. Thompson was so famous already at that point.
Yeah.
I think, you know, maybe his famous friends were like, well, if he can do it, we can do it.
Right.
But there is this movie I want to talk about that I don't know if you looked it up, and I haven't talked to you about it yet, but it's called Scorpio Rising.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so this movie came out, and it's about a gay orgy situation that happens with a motorcycle gang.
Okay.
And at the time of it coming out was...
they mentioned it in the book.
Yeah. So the time it comes out is the time where Hells Angels is sort of rising into this fame. So it's not a movie about the Hells Angels.
It was like a German guy or something,
yeah,
right?
He just writes this movie, and it just worked out for him because as he starts putting this movie into theaters, they're putting up posters of the Hells Angels
outside. Yeah.
Outside, so everyone thinks it's a movie about the Hells Angels, and the Hells Angels all went and watched the movie, and it was just...
It's funny because they were like, we thought it was a good movie, but it wasn't really about us.
They weren't even mad about it. They were like, it really wasn't about us, so I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
They had an oddly, like especially for the time, like relationship with like homosexuality. Like,
yeah.
It didn't seem to completely bother them. Like
no.
Like you said, they would do it for shock value.
They would make out with each other as like, oh, I'm showing my brother some love, but it wasn't like they were having these that we know of. It wasn't written in the book. It was mostly
because then there was like a whole fetish culture that kind of spawned from that with the leather and the studs and all that stuff, which they never embraced that style.
They didn't,
and they didn't dress like Brando. Like if you watch the Wild One, like as a modern person, you're just like, what? People thought he was a sex symbol. He's wearing mom jeans and he's got this big poofy hat on and, this corny jacket with the studs all over it, Really, Lee Marvin was the character in that movie. Like he was kind of the badass in that. But
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that one we watched. It's better than the one we watched last night. Yeah, but not like a lot better.
Yeah, I brought up Scorpio Rising to my husband last night and he was like, what the hell kind of movie is this?
Can you actually find it?
No, it's like you can't find it.
Oh, I was going to say.
I tried to find it and it's like
kind of obscure.
It's like taken off. Yeah. I'm sure someone on here can find it. And if you do, great. But I just thought it was funny that the Hells Angels were like, that wasn't about us. And they just moved on with their lives where like people have been beaten to a point of a pulp for something less than that. Just looking at them in the wrong direction. And
it's funny that what they take offense to and what they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going around like showing up at these rallies and the government at that point kind of embraced them. They were like, hey, there's going to be some hippies over here if you guys want to go beat them up, because they couldn't really interfere with the rally as like a sanctioned entity.
And this is in Berkeley area.
Yeah, it's Berkeley. Yeah,
it's all which is like young college town.
Right, it's the epicenter of the hippie movement and all that. All the left coast. Mentality it all stems from Berkeley,
and they describe Berkeley and Oakland as like New York and the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
Or Brooklyn and the Bronx or something.
Yeah, well,
like
Oakland it's always had a more like rough and tumble reputation versus like it's right across the bay from San Francisco.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go read this book because it's
interesting.
But then the downfall of Hunter S. Thompson and
so he intervenes at that party and
one of the guys is beating up his old lady and a dog. Apparently, he's like beating on his dog and an old lady.
And they have the rule, like if you interfere, like if you fight one, you fight all, right? So he was like, as soon as he started getting punched by that guy, he was like, "Oh, I'm dead. They're gonna all." And I guess he looked to the one guy. Was it Tiny? Is that what his name?
I think it was Tiny, who was also like 6'6".
Yeah, so like he yells like help, and surprisingly he did help him. He didn't.
So I read more into the stories. They don't go into it in Hell's Angels, but I obsess over things, so I had to figure out what happened after this fight or how he survived it.
Yeah.
And I guess the guys that jumped him weren't really closely associated with Hunter S. Thompson. And so
it sounded like they didn't know him as well.
They didn't know him as well. They didn't have that relationship with him. But because of, the hierarchy of the guy that was beating him up, or that beating his wife, they jumped in.
Right.
But then the higher ups, like Sonny and Tiny and them,
they
dismantled the fight, and which has ultimately saved Hunter's life.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Right. Like
in those situations.
Yeah, so you learn the lesson. You can't tame the beast, right? Like you think you can like feed the wolf or whatever, but eventually the wolf's gonna
get you.
He's gonna get you. He's gonna turn on you. He's gonna bite you.
And he did, and that was essentially the end for Hunter S. Thompson in that.
Yeah. After that, he was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I wonder, like in his first draft before that happened, like if he was calling them losers and stuff, or if it turned him a little bit. Like
I don't know. I feel like he was. Hunter S. Thompson has always just been matter of fact, and he says what he wants to say, and he's very controversial. He's a very controversial writer, journalist.
Right.
Essentially. I mean, he made money off his journalism, but he was passionate about his his books.
Right. Because he seemed like he was more like a reporter that just kind of...
He was a reporter for the money, and he talks about that in the documentary.
Yeah.
That's what made him money, essentially. He would just write for these little things. And I think at some point, I have to go back, but I've read so much on him. I think something happened in his family. He ended up adopting like 4 kids. So he had kids of his own, and then they adopted a bunch of kids, and his wife just like maintained the household, and Hunter S. Thompson just like went about his life. I'm going to go to the Hells Angels for 2 years, and then would come back. And his wife would be like, okay,
welcome back.
Oh, and he would raise his family for a little bit. And then sometimes he'd bring his family into the weird situations he was in. And they all kind of just lived it.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about, but also...
I guess, I mean, people nowadays, they enlist in the military, and that's kind of the same thing. They go off for tours, and then they come back.
Yeah.
It's a little harder to sell to the wife, I think, though, if you're not in the Army.
Right. You're like, I'm going to go in this motorcycle gang and
I'm going to go out and hang with
probably rape people. But
yeah, I'm going to go hang around with all these really easy women and do all kinds of weird drugs.
Get drunk a lot.
And
not work for 2 years.
and like right after he bought the motorcycle, he crashed it. He almost killed himself in the crash.
He did. And then he talks about that situation, how he like changed the way he rides and didn't clip curbs as much. And a lot of the guys crashed.
Oh, yeah. So that was a theme in the book where like, you know, they were always going to funerals for guys. Like
funerals or just they're in the hospitals or they're drunk and riding around. And
yeah, they would get completely stoned or trashed and then just take off down the middle of the street.
And the police would chase them a lot. And they would just tail them. So right on their tail. And a lot of the police officers were like, we were just going to tail you until you crashed.
You crashed.
So it was like, it was purposeful.
Yeah.
A lot of guys lost their lives or their arms or legs or.
Yeah, it's a different time.
Their beauty from the scarring.
Makes them more attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some women.
I'm not saying I'm attracted to guys with scars, but I'm not saying it either, you know, right?
Yeah. So overall, the book was great. I'd read it again and again.
Yeah. Say it's a dark mirror of American culture. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the media. How powerful the media is in spreading fear and propaganda.
We see it now with like modern things. I don't want to get too political, but like you see like how like the media can grab onto a certain story and twist it to tell it their way. But now like we all have phones and we've got, you know, podcasts to listen to and all these other sources.
AI and stuff.
And AI, yeah.
I never know what's real anymore.
With AI.
I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on.
I know. Now there's all these animal videos and I'm like, oh my God, you see that squirrel eating the ramen? And my son's like, that's AI. And I was like, no, look at him. He's so cute.
And
he's like,
yeah. I'm like, how can you tell?
I know. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because they always do it like it's some Ring camera or something that caught it. So you're like, oh no, that's real. And then you're like, no, I guess not. So I guess the thing that we could come around to now is like where are these outlaw gangs now? Like it seems like a lot of them kind of leaned into more like charity runs and stuff. Like I guess there is probably a split culture. There's probably some that are out doing crazy shit, trafficking drugs or whatever. But then now a lot of these like
St. Pete Moto meetups for sure.
Yeah. A lot of these gangs are wearing, you know, or I say gang. Clubs. They're wearing the vest with the patch or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I still don't cross those guys. I'm pretty careful when I see them.
I play dumb.
Yeah.
I just play dumb.
Yeah, I just play dumb. But
nobody knows I ride motorcycles. Look at me.
Yeah. So
unless you see my shoe.
Yeah, actually, we should mention that while we're here. So coming up on December 13th.
Yeah, December 13th, Saturday
Scramble at Golden Isles Brewery. On 30th and MLK.
There's going to be St. Pete.
Ugly sweater.
Motion detected at front door.
Perfect.
There's going to be an ugly sweater contest, which I'm going to win because I've got an awesome sweater.
Ugly sweater party. Yeah. Classic vintage motorcycles, but everyone's invited, and it's not. We're going to have a food truck. We're going to have some golden suds with Golden Isles and some buds. And if Binge Moto will be there.
That's right. If you watch this podcast and you stay to the very end, you'll get the secret password and Jen will buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The first 27 people that approach her.
Round of waters on me. No, it'll be really fun. My husband and I created St. Pete Moto meetups, mostly because a lot of the meetups are in Tampa or Brooksville or other areas, and there's nothing really local. Right. And we don't do anything exciting other than line the bikes up and talk about motorcycles and meet cool people that like to ride motorcycles. And that's really all the basis is.
So tell us about your bike. What are you riding?
So I have a 2019 Triumph Bonneville Street Twin. It's a 900.
Yeah.
And it's the only bike I haven't had to wrench on every other day to keep it running. So
that's good.
That's why I bought it. And I got it at Tampa Triumph.
And what about Butch? What's he on?
Butch has a 2015 Triumph T100.
T100.
And it's the classic, beautiful chrome and the, shiny blue. And I've got the more
and I can say
MASH style.
That these two have both ridden the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We rode it with you right after you crashed.
Right after I crashed, yeah. So
yeah. So actually, he was late and we didn't have any Wi-Fi and I was like, something's wrong. And my husband's like, nah, he's all right.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got into Wi-Fi, we find out that Brian and his cousin had crashed on.
Yeah, we were going to take the Cherahalla Skyway to the Tail of the Dragon to meet you guys because Brandon had never done it. And
we were supposed to do it with you, not to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
We opted out of it because we woke up and there was frost on our seat.
It was like 30 degrees.
The Skyway is like 4,000 feet above that. I was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
There's no way. And they were like, we're going to go on it. And
yeah, and it was fine until like it wasn't, you know.
So you hit the black ice.
We hit some black ice.
Crashed. Yeah. But luckily you guys are okay. And
yeah, we actually
and the bikes were okay.
Yeah, we picked the bikes up, dusted ourselves off, and turned around and went back down the mountain the other way, and then did the loop around to the other side, came in from the top of the Dragon.
And we came in from the bottom, so we met halfway.
Yeah, we literally we crossed you guys halfway, and then we did like a little U-turn in the middle of the Dragon. It was, thankfully, it was since it was cold, there was nobody there. It was
right.
It was pretty.
And it was like a Thursday too.
Yeah,
I think we got there on like a weekday before the chaos.
Yeah, and that time of that time, it was actually not too cold there. By the time we got to the Dragon, it was like in the 60s.
Oh, it was so nice.
It was really nice. Yeah,
and that was so shout out to my husband. That was our 1-year wedding anniversary.
That was congratulations.
So
it
was awesome. Really fun. We got to do that together.
Yeah.
And my husband didn't ride before I met him.
Yeah.
But his whole family rode.
Right.
And so when he met me, he was like, "Oh yeah, motorcycles." I'm like, "Yeah, you'll probably ride." And I think within that year, he had his license.
Started off on the back of your bike.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had to get one of those bars and stuff.
Sissy bar for him.
Sissy bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he loved it. He got his bike, and he actually keeps me safe because I like to go fast. So
yeah,
I now ride behind him. He sets the tone for the
that's good.
The speed limit, which is nice.
Yeah, you can still have fun. You don't have to go. You don't have to be one of these guys, you know, cutting through traffic at 100 miles.
No, I can't. I don't do that. I don't lane split. I don't dog people that do it. I don't trust anybody else on the road to do that. And we ride a lot downtown St. Pete. So we live in St. Pete, and so we bop around town. And
it's different. Like if you're in a place like California that has it legal,
sure,
because people see you coming and they actually get out of the way.
Yeah,
whereas here they see you coming and they get angry and they try to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
so. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Plus, with Florida law, like I'm not trying to mess with anyone.
Yeah, yeah. And now they've got all these laws for like if you go over 100 miles an hour, it's an excessive speed, and they'll seize your bike and all that stuff.
But they won't chase you. There's a no chase law.
Yeah, but I'm not taking that.
Which I've thought about just once. Just once.
Yeah, if I find out I've got terminal cancer.
And then you just see, someone gets it on tape, like, who was that on? And it's like, that was me, dog.
Yeah.
But I'd probably stop and be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I stop. Yeah. I've been pulled over like 4 times on the motorcycle and never got a ticket. Yeah, never got a ticket. So
it's probably because you're white.
It's probably.
Probably because you're white.
I don't identify as white though.
Oh, okay.
So.
No, so I've never been pulled over on my motorcycle before.
Oh, that's good.
No, ever.
Yeah.
And well.
Yeah, actually, I haven't gotten a ticket in years. I shouldn't say that. This is actual wood, so I'm knocking on it. I'm going to get one tomorrow. But,
yeah. So yeah, what else? We did the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Then you guys came and stayed with us at our...
We did. That was fun. Yeah, we stayed
at our cabin.
Yeah, your cabin, me and
cozy cabin.
And Brandon, yeah.
And Brandon got the fire started because, we were there.
Yeah, he's a former, Army guy. So.
We were there for 3 days before that. Could not. The wood in Blairsville, it's not real.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that you just can't have a fire in Blairsville unless you have Brandon with you.
Right. He put his Army skills to the test.
He did.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, if you're watching this or listening, he's probably listening too. I think he listens.
I think for sure he listens.
Yeah.
Come down to Florida. Bring the family.
Yeah, I have to get him on here at some point. Yeah. He sent me a thing that he bought, this new camera that mounts inside of his helmet, like inside the visor. It's kind of cool. It's like a little small. It's made by Insta360. It comes with like a body that'll charge it, but then it's just a little pill basically, and you can mount it like inside your visor.
So it's like your view?
Yeah.
I just saw this helmet and I didn't pay attention to what brand it was, but it's like this virtual...
Oh, they got the heads-up display now.
Yeah, the heads... I was like, that's kind of cool. It shows you like how fast you're going and...
Right. Yeah, I can't decide if that's more distracting or less distracting.
It's probably going to be more distracting, but...
Maybe once you get used to it, but... Yeah, anyway, I told him, hey, you make some cool videos, put them on my channel. I don't care.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And, well, we also have to talk about the Great Epic.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
So
Jen and Butch bought a boat, a 1972, right?
1972. We love the
Trawler.
vintage. Yep, vintage trawler.
It's beautiful, although I haven't gotten an invite yet, but
You will.
I've seen the videos and it looks really nice.
Yeah, we just fixed the generator. We're still working on it. We just moved it from Indian Rocks Beach up to Demon's Landing in downtown St. Pete. So it's a backstory. My husband lived on a boat for 14 years, a 44-foot. Well, he lived on multiple boats, but the last one was a 44-foot DeFever offshore trawler. And once we got married, we sold that because I came with a home, and we got just our life in order, and thought we would take a little bit of time before we bought a new boat. And we ended up just falling in love with this vintage 42-foot 1972 offshore trawler, Bristol.
Yeah.
And I sent him the link 3 different times from 3 different areas to buy from. And he's like, you keep sending me the same boat. I'm like, well, I obviously really like it, so we should probably look at it.
Yeah.
And we did. And the owner of the boat was actually Mark Spieler, who Heritage Docks.
Okay.
So he builds a lot of the docks in Pinellas County area. Very well known, super nice guy. And the boat, not to be punny, but is in Bristol condition. So we bought it, and my husband started a YouTube channel like 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago now. And so it's just about boat content and what we're doing. And
and you guys have quite a following on there.
Yeah, well, that was mostly him, but since I've come on, we've got the footage has gotten a little bit better. I do all the filming.
Yeah, no,
Most of the filming.
I like it. I don't know anything about boats, but I end up sitting there and watching them all. So
It's fun. It's really fun. And we
got a little swab.
We brought our little swab on, Hunter, our daughter, and Hunter S. And she has just fallen in love with the deckhand duties, and she loves the boat and actually wants to get rid of the house and live on the boat full time. So we were thinking about, upgrading this boat, eventually selling it, because it's not big enough for us to live aboard. We thought we would just have it.
Yeah, it's like a weekend.
As a weekender, which we're doing. But now that she's getting more, we want to live on it. We're like, well, no property taxes. And, just get a 70-footer and put it out there, and then maybe rent the house out or something. So we want to keep our house too. But
Right. It's always good to have that.
Yeah.
It's good to have property.
That'll be her start in life. When she's 18, you either keep it or sell it.
Yeah.
That's yours.
Can you adopt me?
Yeah. You're not doing too bad yourself, Brian.
No, that's not too bad here. It's not too bad. Yeah.
You have your own podcast station, so.
Oh, yeah. It's a luxurious studio.
From what they can see. Yeah.
Yeah. And this incredibly, I spent days putting up this brick wall.
Yeah. It's really nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, so follow the great epoch.
The great epic.
Epic.
Yeah.
It's spelled epoch.
It's spelled epoch. So the great epic, EPOCH,
right,
which is a period of history and time that means something to you, which is right now for us.
Awesome.
So,
yeah. So it's good. It's a good follow. Yeah.
It's fun.
Check out Morrison's En Route on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. They're a fun couple to follow. And
the Binge Moto podcast.
Binge Moto podcast. Yeah, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Subscribe or die, I should say.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
Hell's Angels got to you.
No, I've been doing that on the end of the little shorts lately, and it's my niece saw it the other day and she went bananas. She thought it was hilarious. I'll show it to you when we get off.
I met your niece.
Yeah.
She's supposed to get a motorcycle. I don't know what you're doing.
She's coming to the event.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see her.
December 13th.
That's right, December 13th. Yeah. So.
Ugly sweaters.
Well, thanks for joining us. Definitely, if you like audiobooks, check it out on audio. The guy that reads it does a good job. And I was telling Jen the other day that the pro tip, just keep turning up the speed until you can't take it anymore, and then you can take a 10-hour book and make it like a 7-hour book or a 5-hour book.
Yeah, which actually did help me because I was fighting for my life.
Because sometimes the guy reading it is like saying so many pauses in between, like trying for emphasis. I'm like, I don't need that. Like
he did that.
Yeah, so like my son, my younger son Quinn, he'll listen to it like on 2.3 speed or whatever.
1.3 was fast enough.
Yeah, no, it's bananas. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how you understand like what's going into your brain at that speed, but because they listen to all these fantasy books, which I usually listen to as well, just to be involved
Keep
or whatever. Keep up with the times. And they're like freaking 50 hours long. So if you don't listen to them at that speed, it's going to take you 2 months to get through them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
there was a quote in the book, and we don't have to put this in, but there was a quote in the book. And I rewound it a couple times and tried to figure it out, but he's quoted H. Himmler. And I was like, is that Heinrich Himmler?
Probably.
Which is Hitler's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Who he was a chicken farmer.
Right.
And he created all the concentration camps based off the chicken farms that he designed himself, which is crazy.
Due to Heimlich Himmler, doctrine of obedience and violence. Let's see.
Doctrine of obedience and violence?
The doctrine, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Here we go. Himmler once said he didn't want intellectuals or thinkers. He wanted men who acted without doubt or hesitation, who believed in strength and discipline rather than ideas. Thompson uses this to argue that the angels embodied the same instinct. They reject reflection, distrust change, and treat violence as a kind of identity. So
that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That really struck me when I went back and I was like, I lost the quote. I need to find it.
Yeah, no, the quote that I think I actually sent to you was, let's see.
Rebelling against the past, the Hell's Angels are fighting the future.
Yeah, that was when they were talking about like the kids on campus of Berkeley versus they're both rebelling, but one's rebelling against the past, and then they're rebelling. They don't want to go into the future because they have no future.
Right.
They're living day to day. Right.
And so at first, the Berkeley and Hell's Angels were like attracted to each other in a way where they wanted to like party together, but then when they understood each other more, they despised each other.
Yeah, they realized they were
ideas
rebelling, but completely on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And that's some of the riots that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah. But then we were talking about, I mean, since we're getting into it, let's talk about the graphic nature. What were these quotes that we sent back? Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want me to read this one?
Yeah.
So he sent me one saying, one of the first lines that made me chuckle was he was arrested for public cunnilingus.
Yeah.
And then as I was reading, and I was a little bit behind you in reading because we got distracted with our Disney trip. This one was, she was on her menstrual cycle. They proceeded to remove her sanitary napkin and perform cunnilingus. And this is part of one of the rapes that they did on one of the women. And so they basically broke into her house and
apparently they have like little signifiers, like they would wear a red swastika or whatever if they had done that.
Oh.
And then they were color coded. Like
I must have missed that.
Yeah, one
part.
was like a black one if you with a black woman. One was red if you did it while they were on their period. And there was like little pins or patches or something that they used to.
You got to collect them all.
Got to collect
like the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all. Yeah.
Get that red one. You know.
Yeah, that's a good note to go out on. I think. Right.
Yeah. So it's a graphic book, but it's history.
It's a graphic novel, but with no pictures.
Yeah, only the ones in your mind.
That's right. So once again, thanks for sticking around. And what's the next line?
Subscriber died.
And go ride a motorcycle.
Subscribe or die.